What's up, everybody? Welcome to Daily Refinement. In today's episode, we have a very special guest or guests, Hustlin' Hooks. Before we get into it, do you guys want to let people know where they can find you online or how can they contact you?
Yeah, sure. So we're pretty much all over the place. We're on not all over, but on Instagram we're at Hustlin' Hooks, and on YouTube we're Hustlin' Hooks.
I love
keep
it.
Pretty straightforward.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking time today. I wanted to ask you guys, what are your goals for 2022 and any obstacles? But let's start with goals.
So we did have a good year in 2021, just to recap that. So and that's just for a baseline of like where we're starting from as far as our goals. So like our gross sales were like 175,000. So for 2022, we're looking to basically build a more scalable business, something with things that are easily replenishable, quicker to photograph, quicker to process, just sort of taking it from your book, just something that's really quick from start to finish, so that we can also have employees that can be trained on the processes a lot easier and have a business that's scalable and can be run by employees if needed.
Okay, so replicatable, that's awesome. Right now, let's see. So is the main goal to figure out a system that's replicatable this year, or do you also have an income goal?
Well, so I don't know if we specifically have an income goal. I think what we've done, so just to backtrack a little bit, we've been doing this for about 2.5 years. We started part-time. 2021, I quit the corporation in April and became full-time. And we're both full-time, but we also have a small child and we have one part-time employee. And at the same time, we're not both working 8 hours a day, straight up. It's cut into pieces. So it's a little bit of a challenge, of course. And you now know as a new father, so congratulations to you and your family, that can be a little bit tricky too.
Yep.
So we don't have per se a financial goal this year. I think this year is kind of like the rebuild year of building what we actually want to accomplish. Because when we started reselling right off the gate, we knew that we didn't want to be resellers. We wanted to be business owners.
Got it.
And that kind of strikes some people, it puts a bad taste in their mouth. And we're not saying reselling is, a reseller is a bad thing, but we know we can do this forever and make a great income, but that's not what we want. We want to, like Melinda said, build a scalable business where we can work from it wherever we want, however we want.
Yeah, I think our long-term goal is to have $1 million plus in gross sales.
Okay.
But right now it almost, we're not exactly sure what to set for this year, because a lot of our previous history has been in hard goods. So it's going to be sort of almost taking a step back as we scale the soft goods side of it, so that we know what to realistically expect. It's probably going to take like 3 months, I would imagine, for us to have sort of the same amount of income from that we have had from the hard goods.
That's really great. 1 million gross sales is an awesome goal, and figuring out systems along the way is going to be interesting, because it's basically figuring out what both your schedules look like, and then what the schedule of the people who help you do. And then also, Kim is asking in the chat, niching down into the less categories, the easier it is to hire and the more replicatable it is. I wish we could just sell one thing, literally, right, and that would be easier. But then it's also risky if you only sell one thing, because then if it goes away, then you lose all your business.
Right.
So
I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember you a while ago in one of your videos. You had talked about a friend that invested X amount of dollars into the new hot thing, and then that new hot thing was then driven by Amazon, and Amazon, underpriced, underscaled, and then he was stuck with X amount of dollars of inventory. That, good luck.
Absolutely. So before we get into the replicatable system, let's talk about what does a day in the life look like?
So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have a whole day of daycare between our two parents. So one of us is up by 6 usually. That's sort of when I've started my schedule. I'm updating the numbers in the spreadsheet. Then we start listing what's on our phone from the previous day or the previous couple days. So we start adding listings. And then depending on if our employee is there or not, we're either processing or we're working on like storage and efficiencies while she's processing.
I see.
The last couple of weeks have been a little bit different too, because we replicated your photo booth, as you can, if
Yep.
the carpet looks familiar in the background.
Yep.
So it took a little bit while. Like the room we're in right now, we're doing all of this from our home still. So the room that we're sitting in right now is, like a 10 by 13 room, and this is what we call our eBay room. So we have to reorganize it. We have to basically gut it all and then remove, put back the furniture and the storage and the, hangers and all that good stuff. So a lot of this week has been a bit complex, but I don't think right now one of the challenges that we have is that we don't have a solid structure. We had talked about it a bit, and we put some plans in motion, but we haven't executed and followed up thoroughly. But also we're just kind of getting started with this brand new business model. So we're kind of learning and figuring that out as we go.
I love it. So the 10 by 13 room, is that all processing and listing, or is there also storage?
There's storage elsewhere. We have,
okay.
Yep. Yeah. We have total, it's between our basement and storage in our garage. I don't know how many square foot it would be.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe like, it's probably
500.
Yeah, I would say like 700 to 900 square feet, but it's all chopped up. This is we live in a house that was built in 1895. So our like basement has like a cellar area in it, which is perfect for storage because it's just a long shelves. Then we built a loft in our garage. That's another, I think it's about 350, 400 square feet. That's strictly for storage. And then, yeah, I think that's about it. It's very inefficient. Our storage system is very inefficient, but we're constrained. And
it's going to be the one big challenge for us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's we didn't really know 3 years ago that we would be full-time resellers on eBay, right? So it's kind of like all kind of just happened. It wasn't like we didn't plan the house that was perfect for reselling.
Yeah.
Of course. What state are you guys in?
Michigan.
Okay, great. So this is great because you can develop a modular system. You have this 10 by 13 room that you can create what the process is. And if you ever want to add another lister, you can just make the same room somewhere else. It can be in an offsite, or you could use a different room or space. The biggest part of the space constraint is how quickly your items sell. So that's going to be key. Like obviously, if you sell 100% of your items, you don't need very much space. If you sell 10%, you need 10 times more space. So this is cool looking at it. What's your inventory system look like?
Like crap.
Yeah,
well, we have right. So again, it's been kind of like improving as we've grown, but then we still have like the past. So as we're like filtering away from hard goods, it's going to be smoother because those obviously they don't fit in bins, so they're just on shelves. And then as far as like our clothing, all of our shoes are in one spot, so we know one place where those are. And then our clothes, we do label in bins. We've just started within literally like the last day getting like the plastic bags to put them in. So right now it's just like it's in this bin basically, and then we go and find that bin and then pull out the clothing.
Got it.
Yeah, it's like Melissa said, the hard goods are definitely hard to manage just because of all the shapes and sizes. So as we kind of start flushing that out of our inventory, then we'll be able to kind of redesign. And then it's just a juggling act between like, we know it's not perfect. We just need to get it to the point where it's good until we move into that clean space where we can put up shelving and really look into what inventory system we want. But we definitely waste a lot of time looking, and we've wasted a lot of time in the past, mislabeling and, well, I thought it was here. Well, now it's over here. It's definitely a time suck. But, we recognize it, but you kind of have to work with what you have when you just get started.
Have you guys decided what you want to sell specifically yet? Or are you still filtering?
Yeah,
we're going to sell clothes and shoes. Like that's going to be where we're at because it's replenishable. We find a lot of good items in our area. So that's what we're comfortable with. It sort of happened at like sort of near the end of last year anyway, where like hard goods were getting less and less sourceable. And in Michigan, we only have garage sales a couple months out of the year. So we were just naturally coming home with more clothes. And then that started kind of being what was selling more anyway, until, the Christmas boom, but that's sort of where we're going with that, and it's easy to store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we live in a really great area when it comes to thrifting. Like there's a road or a section of road that's like within a mile and a half. There's 5 thrift stores like all there. And then if we just go a little bit out of town, like we have inventory is never an issue for us. We have great prices. Are like Goodwills are fantastic. They're a reward system, flat rate, for almost everything. I think you mentioned you pay like $11 for a pair of jeans. We pay $6, so it's like we can get the inventory, that's for sure. And clothing, especially, and shoes, especially.
Awesome. So this year we want to work on an inventory system. Maybe try to pick one that can fit shoes and clothes. I think that would be great. And then how many listings per day is the goal? And how does that, who does what work?
So that's one of our obstacles that we were kind of hoping to brainstorm, because right now we've set a goal of 40 listings a day at the moment. We don't know if that is that a good number? Is that too low? Is that reasonable for like what we're working? And we're both capable of doing listings. Usually I end up doing more of them, but we both list. So I think that's going to be coming into the schedule too, of like planning the listing into our schedule.
Usually the wife does all the work when I look at different reselling couples. So as far as like making this work, it's ideal if both of you have the same listing structure, which is great because then it's truly modular. If it looks, you both do the same process, same setup. So we want to set, where do items go before they're photographed? Do you have an area?
Yeah, I can actually just show you around the room real quick. So we constructed this rack or repurposed this rack right now. And then so basically as the inventory comes in, this is all inventory from yesterday's sourcing trip. Okay. We put it here, and then right behind me are the rulers we just got to mimic or to copy you. And then right behind us is our photography studio that we just built. So
it's essentially just like hanging photograph, photograph, and then we have the bins over
literally right
side.
Right there. Our bins will be right there, and then once they're filled up, then we take them to their appropriate spot. So I think we've done a really good job, and our part-timer agrees that it's much more efficient and smooth, and definitely a lot better than working on the floor, because that was not sustainable.
Are you left-handed, either of you?
No.
Because I have to go the other direction. I go more clockwise for the like moving stuff from left to right.
Are you left-handed?
No, that's why. But I also
I
scroll.
think that's just how the room played out.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it might be how the room is. Because I think that the easier you can make the flow, the more consistent it is, and the less things get hung up on. You don't have to show me, but how many items are ready to photograph next to you? Can you fit 40 there?
Oh yeah. We can probably fit. I would say like 100 on that rack, and that's just hanging. And then we ran out of pant hangers, so then there's more ready to go up above that.
Okay, that's awesome. So essentially, you want to, at the end of the day, replenish the 40 that go on the side, so that you don't have to do anything when you get to work the next day. What is it? 40 items 5 days a week, or you want to go every day?
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
We said that in 10, like we practiced it.
Are you guys gonna alternate? What do you think?
I was just going to say, so the last 4 days we did 40, 40, 26, and then yesterday we did 41. So we've been pretty good this week so far. And then the other thing I'll say about the listing process, because not a lot, but a good amount of the clothing that we're bringing in is women's clothing. And as a simple man, that is very challenging for me because there's so many different styles. So that's part of like, when I look through, like I'll photograph a bunch of stuff, I'll look through it and it's just like, I don't know what this is. So I airdrop it to her and say like, I just don't know if this, what is a tunic? Like those are the types of things that I'm still learning. So she'll probably do, at this point, you're probably doing like 60-75% of the listings. And then,
Yeah. She's probably doing 90% of the listings. But when I look at the setup, okay. So in your process, once the items are photographed, then what happens? do they go to the left into it? Do they get packaged, or how do they get put away?
Yes. So then exactly. So we have the labeled bin already. So we know where it's going. Like we take that as our first photo until it gets filled up. And then it's our ending photo before our next one. So once they're photographed, we take it down, fold it up, and then it goes into the bin that it's going to be like its storage location.
I see. And right now the bin system is just numbered, or how do you know which one?
Yeah, like A1, B1, that type of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't transitioned into individual SKU numbers per item. We definitely want to do that once we kind of rehaul the inventory system. Once we have a clear storage space. I personally love your your way of doing it with the 30-inch boxes. That'll probably be the thing that we mimic, but we'll see.
Yeah, I would test a few out, and then I did probably 20 different size boxes. After Cheryl in our group, she had a skinny box that only fit one piece of clothing. So that was a game changer for me, because now looking through the bin when they're not in files, it takes a long time. So I tried 8-inch boxes, 9-inch boxes, 10-inch boxes. I tried vertical, horizontal. So you need to figure out your shelves, your system, how tall each of you are matters. And then vertical is cheaper. So obviously if you can go taller, you save a lot of money.
Yeah,
for sure.
We also have a women's clothing call every week. So you could hop on there and learn all the styles. I know where the tunic is. So that kind of stuff is like really important, because women's clothing is the easiest category to get supply, but maybe the hardest category on eBay to accurately do. Because it's like a college degree to figure out what it all means.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Awesome. So do you guys split up the household responsibilities as well? What does that look like? Because that's important.
Yeah, it's running a business out of your home with a 2-year-old is pretty hectic. So we have our good periods and our rough periods, I'd say. Like right now we're in a rough period because there's just stuff everywhere because we redesigned a room. But prior to that, we actually made a really good move where we just said, like, enough is enough. Once we're done, we put up the curtains, this room is closed, and we go back to family life. So that balance is there. And then
as far as day to day, Dean does most of the cooking, and then I do most of the other stuff. And then usually I take care of Jess and stuff. It's a split. She probably does 90%. But I'll say that. But yeah, for the most part, it's all pretty much balanced.
Okay, so how I want to approach this is, let's try to limit your eBay day to 10 hours between the two of you. That's 5 each. So this month, maybe, or in the next couple of months, write down what you're doing so that you can narrow it down to 5 hours a day each. Because I think this is how I think. Business owner means 7 days a week. If you're a 9-to-5er, then just 9 to 5. But it's very difficult to take off 2 days and then go back into work. Like, it's easier to do 5 hours, 7 days a week than 10 hours, 4 days a week. Because when you stop and start, eBay is like not like that. It's easier to do a little bit each day. Right. So that being said, I would say the 5 hours that you do work, you need to record that and then make it equal. And depending on what, it might be split up. So Melinda does all of the listing during certain periods of time, and then the sourcing or the processing is all set up differently. But the roles have to be clear, and it can't be 90-10. So you have to look at who does what and how long everything takes, and then split that up. And the 2-year-old, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm assuming once she can run around, it'll be more challenging. So the household stuff has to be done, I think, before eBay almost, except for maybe cooking, because that's something that is done a lot. But I think that the 5 hours a day each is 7 days a week is amazing. You could easily do 40 a day with that schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the $1 million, just so because this is an awesome topic, because I think about this all the time, and my business is set up to do 1.5 million a year. So when I look at the structure, you can basically reverse engineer to 20,000 a week. And if you actually want to have some freedom, because everyone is talking about wanting to have free time, they want to retire, they want to spend time, go on vacation. You need to make a lot of income to do that because you have to buy your time back. So you'd have to have somebody, like if somebody did your laundry, somebody helped with, you guys have the family daycare, but that normally would cost a lot of money. Right. So childcare would be easily $20,000 if you can't. And then if you count the commute of taking your kid to childcare and driving back, I think the true cost of childcare is $30,000. It's a lot if you count your time. Yeah. So in order to gain some freedom, you need income. That's why I think that everyone should shoot for the $1 million annual revenue. And once you start hiring people, the profit starts to go away really quickly. Like $1 million with a couple of staff members is probably only like 100 to 150K profit usually after you subtract everything out. But that's a healthy 6-figure income, and you'll have people helping you. At that point, you probably won't be photographing and listing anymore. And for me, I did it in reverse order. I tried to hire that listing out first. Don't do that. That should be the very last thing that you hire out, because even now I am launching all the listings. I review tunic versus blouse versus basic. I review midi, knee length, maxi. I'm doing all that because that's the most important part. So as long as you guys don't take that shortcut, if you launch all your listings, then you can grow to any level. So that's what I would hire out first. And that looks like, let's see, around 400 listings a week. It's a lot, but that would be when you're thinking, okay, 400 listings a week, at least you have that idea of what that looks like. And what I would shoot for is probably not 200. I would probably shoot for 100 perfect listings for like a week and look at those as a baseline for going. But you guys are already doing 40-ish, but I think that it's easy to list a whole bunch of stuff that will never sell. So even now, I'm not in a hurry. If I'm training somebody new and they can only do 10 listings that day, that's okay. Just make sure that they're going in the right way. They look the same. And
that's the thing. But like, we're not rushing our listings. We've learned. I mean, we've been at this for about 2.5 years. We're decent at it. Like, I'm not going to say we're great or perfect, but we're relatively knowledgeable, based off of all of the information that we've gathered, doing it ourselves, and then consuming all of the content from people who actually are, presenting good content. That part we're pretty good at. So unless you feel different, I don't feel like we're rushing our listings just to get them. Because I remember back in it must have been like a year ago, I was watching one of your videos and somebody commented and was like, "I'm doing everything you told me to. Here's my eBay. Nothing is selling." And then I went on there. I was like, "Let me see your store," because I was still at the corporate world and I had nothing else to do. So I looked at the guy's store and he was selling loose CDs, but it wasn't even loose CDs that were like good. It was like loose CDs from a local community church from 1999. It's just like, dude, nobody wants that. Yeah. And he was selling like used pine cones for Christmas decorations, but he had 1,000 listings, but they were all garbage. So we understand that concept relatively well.
One thing that has helped speed up though is having a draft, basically like a clothing draft that hits all the main points, and then if there's anything specific, we kind of just add that in as like a line or two above that draft. So that's been really helpful. That does help it go faster, is because the descriptions is usually where we would get tied down on.
So you guys are also balancing YouTube. I've watched a couple of videos. I like that chart that you guys write how many listings you have. That's awesome. I have that. Just a little calendar where we write down how many listings we do each day. So balancing YouTube, you guys have a calculator or a ledger that you sell. So what other kinds of income streams are you guys looking at? Because I like all those.
So as you mentioned YouTube, we created a spreadsheet. I think that's what you just mentioned. That's an income stream for us. So I have a tech support group that I help people out with there. So that takes a little bit of time, especially when I released the 2022 version. There were some clunky things that I had to fix. in the future, we're looking at real estate. That's our goal. We have some property that we're going to be fortunately getting or inheriting in the long run. So we've invested some money and some time into those as potential rentals. The thing that you mentioned just a little while ago about getting to that $1 million mark and then really just you're only making about 100. That's kind of our goal, is to get to the point where, if we can cash out 100K a year net profit through several income streams, we're happy. Like we're not interested in, getting every single Bentley ever released, but that's kind of the goal, is like get these systems in place and just live a comfortable, good life, be with our family, and just be happy, good citizens of this world.
And then we just have mutual funds and stock investments and things like that, but we don't do like the day trading type of thing. Like we have somebody else manage that for us.
Perfect.
So it's kind of funny, like money in general. Like we've made my salary in basically the last 2 months, roughly, like my former salary, but it doesn't necessarily change our happiness level overall. It's just like we take a huge chunk of that and we just keep reinvesting it into our future, and we live like we live a pretty normal lifestyle, and we're really, but we're happy. That's the key distinction.
Yeah, I think if you make $6,000 a month, 72,000 a year, you usually can pay most of your bills just fine. Yeah. Unless you unless you're extravagant, then 72,000 is legit. So I think that it will probably take a couple of years to get eBay to that level, because it just takes time to learn what's your niche. The hardest part is going to be supply, because like we mentioned at the beginning of the video, getting items that come in ready to list, that's essentially what that is it's a whole job on its own.
Right.
Because if you are buying wholesale, that stuff's going to need to be filtered. It's very difficult because you need another way to get rid of items that don't work. And ideally that's like a brick and mortar or the flea market or something. I would like to have a brick and mortar to get rid of that. But then that's also a little bit more complex, having a brick and mortar and a store. But it's also easier when you have an external location to hire. So if you have a separate location, they're not at your house, and people who go to a workplace are more serious.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's it reminds me of the corporate world, right? Like my background is manufacturing and logistics, warehousing. Like, you have a purchaser, you have somebody literally shopping the world for that Himalayan pink salt. Like that's their job, and then once that comes in, it's someone else's job to make sure it's the right Himalayan pink salt, for example, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So we're familiar, like we have the background and we understand, we're pretty decent at understanding fundamentals of business, and we have, 10, 15 years of each experience in the workplace. So we know what to do in a broad sense.
Are
you guys going to continue cross-listing on multiple platforms, or just eBay, or how do you approach that?
We are, so far we're continuing on Posh and Mercari at the moment. We've, dropped everything else. We're not sure if we're going to keep Mercari in the long run, but as far as like timing goes, I've run some numbers on like me personally listing, and takes me right now like 3 minutes to list something on eBay. And then it's an extra minute to cross them, like for both. So like 30 seconds each, because they're pretty fast. So right now that's worth it. So as we list more and more, it might become more of a time suck. But right now we are cross-listing,
And as far as Mercari, to be frank with everyone in our audience, like we really enjoy the sponsorships that we get from Mercari. So that like we've done some really nice sponsored videos that pay really well. So that's kind of like, we just want to keep Mercari going for content creation. Poshmark, like I'm on the fence. Like we have a virtual assistant that shares the closet, so we don't do that. That's way too much time to actually share. Once you have anything over 150 listings, it becomes a huge time suck to click all day. So a virtual assistant does that part for us, and we're happy with it. And we're not 100% sure yet, but we definitely reduced, right? And that's just the one thing that I really enjoy about content creators that know what they're talking about, is that you can't just listen to a Chris or a Huss and Hooks and like they tell you that Mercari is the best or Amazon is the best. You actually have to taste all those platforms and figure it out for yourself. And so we've tasted Facebook and Etsy and Mercari and Poshmark and eBay. And so now we're kind of figuring out like what is working for us and what is not. And we've brought a majority of them just because it's inefficient. And I have a quick question while we're on that subject. In your experience, do you believe that it hurts eBay when something sells on a different platform, you take that down? Do you think it hurts the overall machine of eBay, or do you think it's not really a big effect?
In this group, since we're modeling tech and sports, he thinks that eBay is spiteful. So if you remove listings, they think, why are you removing the listing? So I'm just going to roll with that because I believe, because they ask you reasons why you remove it, and those reasons I always put other, or it's no longer available. But I feel like they don't like that, because then you're just letting them know that you are cross listing. I have that same dilemma. I just made a Mercari video, but I told them I'm going to tell people I don't use it. So I've sold $32,000 on Mercari, and that's okay. But I feel like that 1 minute to cross list for me is not worth it, because that is like 25% of my time. So I would rather have 1,250 listings on one platform than 1,000 on 3 platforms, because it's 250 more opportunities to make a sale. And I would rather just have no headaches. So in my Mercari video, I do exactly what you just said. I know how Mercari works, and I know that it's front loaded. So when you list something on Mercari, you might get 100 views the first couple of days. On eBay, it takes a month to get 100 views. It's slower. It's a slow drip, but then you can also discount it. You can promote it. You can do things on the back end to reduce the time. Same with Poshmark. You can game the algorithm under I would say 600 listings. You could share all day and your listings would be on top, but then you're sharing all day. And if you hire a bot to do it, you still have to pay the bot. You still have to manage the bot. That time takes time too. Plus that costs money. So if you use that money to buy more listings, I usually see that being a better use, because if you look at the people who are earning more than 50K, if we're talking over 50K on Poshmark or Mercari, it rounds to zero. Like if you count how many people sell on the platform and how many people make over 50,000, it's zero. There might be a handful out of 7 million people who sell on Poshmark. We can't name 10 people that make a full-time living. It's more difficult. But there's like, I want to say there's 100,000 people who make a living on eBay. Tons of people make a living on eBay. If you go on Instagram and you follow the people who don't have any social, but they list 30 items, 40 items a day, they make a full-time living easily.
Yeah, for sure.
So it is interesting looking at that extra 1 or 2 minutes. I was hypnotized by that. I'm like, oh, only another 30 seconds. I'll do another platform. But then when I look at my day, I spent way more time than I thought sharing, managing, delisting, relisting, maybe insulting eBay by removing the item. And if they are spiteful, then
that's our dilemma. So like these are not easy decisions, right? And that's the thing that I think separates the winners from the losers, right? Is taking a look and making those difficult decisions for the long-term gain instead of the short-term, like, holy crap, this sold for X amount of dollars, I'm so happy, versus like, can I do this every single day, and can I actually provide for my family this way? So that's the discussion we had too about like, what do we do with hard goods? Like, how are we going to walk by a Canon AE1 camera for $1 at a garage sale, knowing that you can flip it for parts for 50? Like, how the hell are we going to do that? Like, that's impossible, right? So we're still brainstorming. Mona brought it up this morning. She's like, why don't we just accumulate those hard goods? We'll make content out of it. It'll still be fun. And then we just do a big push for the Christmas season and just offload that stuff and cash in. It's just like, that could be our side hustle.
I mean, that would be like our hobby. Right?
Yeah, our hobby would be hard goods.
I think you're right on the money. The channels that I know that make the most money from treasure hunting don't sell any of it. That's the secret.
Sorry, you cut off at the most important part.
The people who make the most money in haul videos, they don't sell any of it.
Right.
That's the secret, is finding cool things
Right.
Right.
You don't actually have to sell them at all. People don't care. They just want to find it. If you put a sold, this sells for 80, that's even better. But you don't
Oh, yeah.
you don't actually have to do it.
Well, there's a big distinction between a business owner and an entertainer, right? So, and then
Absolutely.
people can make that judgment if they want to. And I don't think it's a negative thing to call someone an entertainer or a business owner, because
No.
that entertainment is their business,
Yeah.
right? So it's,
as long as you're transparent.
yeah, and as long as you're transparent, and
Yeah.
also as the consumer, you have to look at it and figure out what it is. Like there's a gentleman that's been doing it for a long time, and I watched some of his YouTube content, and it's just like, it's just all BS. And it's just like, I just look at it, it's like, this is not interesting at all to me. You're just using buzzwords, that kids want to listen to. You're getting paid by YouTube. Good for you. I'm happy for you. But I know you're not a reseller. You're a show and tell guy, and that's fine. I'm good with that. What do I care? Yeah. But for other people who look at that, it might be a little bit misleading to like, well, he makes a really good living doing this. It's like, well, does he really know how to test that receiver? I don't know. Maybe he does.
What is, people in the chat are asking about your thoughts on Amazon. Are you guys still doing it?
So, yeah.
So we still are planning on doing Amazon. However, we decided it was best to get this, like our eBay, running in a smooth, like something where if we step away to concentrate on another project, we have people in place where it's still a machine. It's still turning income. We have a system down so that we need to still make our day-to-day income before we basically walk away and say like, okay, now all of our focus is over here. So we're not like getting away from Amazon, but that's what we decided to do first.
Yeah, it's a lot. Sorry, go ahead.
And we decided to go this route because the hard goods are fun, but it is kind of like a hobby, and we just felt like we're spinning our wheels. Like at the end of the day, it's like we got 20 things processed because they are big and they're bulky and it takes time. And it was not really leaving any time to do anything else and invest in other aspects of any part of our business. Like when Adine was doing the spreadsheet, it's like, okay, well, if we're spending 12 hours a day to get 20 listings up, and then he's got to process a video or he has to work on this spreadsheet, we're talking like really late nights, long days.
Oh, yeah.
So that is, we need more balance before we can basically upend our lives again.
It's almost like I look at it as like when I was employed full time, I was making a great salary, and we lived a good life, right? But while I was working full time, I was only really working only like 15 hours a week, because I knew my talent, I know my skill set, and I know how to get the job done. And then while I was doing that and collecting that free paycheck, basically, then I was able to scale up the business for our initial eBay business. That's the same thing we have to get to the point now. Like our corporation has to get to the point where we're getting that easy paycheck before we can dive into it. And we know we're going to succeed in Amazon, but we have to do it the right way. And right now is not the time. And we're okay with that.
Yeah.
I have a few books for sale on Amazon because I think that they are also spiteful. So I have an account open, but I don't actively sell. When those books sell, I merchant fulfill them. I'm not doing any anything fancy right now, but I think the age of your account on Amazon matters. So as long as you keep perfect metrics, never ship anything late, you have that in the back burner. And I've been talking about eBay and reselling since 2017, and I don't know anyone that makes a full-time living on both. I know people who make a living on Amazon and they sell their returns on eBay, and they make a little bit, but that's not enough to call that a living. The thought is, why don't I just have two full-time incomes with both? I just haven't seen that though. It's very difficult to actually make a living from both. And if you cobble together like two different incomes, like a lot of YouTubers do this. They combine Amazon, eBay, YouTube, a couple of information digital products, and cobble it all together. I know, because I know all these people, they make less money than people who just do eBay. And it's a way more difficult to switch from, okay, I'm a content creator now. Okay, now I'm a digital person creator. Okay, now I'm a reseller. It's like, and now I'm a dad. Now I'm a husband. Trying to like balance all that is very confusing. And it's kind of like call it a quilted income. You know, just all these different squares put together. And it when you talk about peaceful life, if that's what you really want, then I would say one digital product like you have, once or twice a week on YouTube, consistent listing habit, Amazon for fun. Then just say one day later, if you have your own product or you have a supplier, that's great. But if you do too much of, it's really, really, really hard. Like it ends up being where you don't make very much money and you're really scatterbrained. And also you're so tired at the end of the day that you're just going to be watching Netflix. You can't, it's so hard to unwind after a day of 4 different things.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, we've been burning the midnight oil for 2.5 years.
Yeah. Right? I think that's what we realized. We were like, okay, we're going to streamline this before we like start trying to talk about like industrial warehouses.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of,
I mean, all of that stuff is so great. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say at the same time, like I remember my boss from corporate comes in, out of Houston, comes and sits down with me and the VP of Ops, and we're kind of talking about my future there and all the corporate BS. And my boss knows me, like I've been transparent with him since day one. It's like I'm not sticking around, and because that's just my mindset. Like it's not that I get bored, it's just that I want. I'm a tall person. So realistically, if I hit 70, like that'll be great, right? Tall people don't live very long. So this as a fellow tall person.
Yeah.
So I know that I have roughly 35 years to go. And in those 35 years, I want to have a great time and I want to just keep building and giving back and actually like helping people. Like that's why we're on social media. Like social media is great. You can monetize it, obviously, you make money. Yeah. But it makes me a lot happier when somebody succeeds and then they're just like, hey, like, thanks to you guys, we did ABC. Like, that makes me happy. That makes me happier than any X amount of dollars. So my boss knew I was out and he was telling the VP and the VP's like, I think, within the next 4 years, the dean's going to be gone. And my boss turns to him and he's like, he's going to be out of here within a year. Because that's just like, I'm not interested. Like, you want me to just politic for the next 5-10 years here? No, I've done my job. What's next? And if you're not willing to promote me and give me more responsibility, here I am today. So that's just my mindset.
I hear you. I think about that. The fact that I'm over 6 feet tall, I feel like everything in life has been given to me because when you're tall, people just trust you.
It's true.
And if there's 2 people and one person's taller, the taller person always gets the job. The taller person always becomes president. It's like all related. But you get usually heart issues happen, right? So I think I'm on that same wavelength. I'm like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. So I'm definitely aiming towards getting as much as possible out. And I think it's the same. When you are externally focused on making other people happy, then that really helped my eBay business because my wife told me that it doesn't matter what I think about when it comes to my listings, photos, titles. It's only what the customer cares about. That actually, I didn't realize that. I was like, I'm just doing eBay my way. But now I'm trying my best to do eBay how the customer would want to see that item. And it's easier. It takes the pressure off of you. Customers want to see new items every day. They want to see them described as the best that they can be. They want free returns. They do want free shipping, but I haven't given that up yet. So I still charge for shipping.
Yeah, we've balanced both those business models too. And it's I mean, I think you can win both ways, but you have to figure out one way. That's for sure.
What is your what size is your store now, your eBay store?
So our the one that we're the hard goods store, the most amount of listings we ever had on there was about close to 1,300. And we probably like a 50% sell-through rate roughly, across eBay and that platform. Our current store, I think we just hit 700.
Yeah.
So we've had this backup store for a while and we were just selling shoes on it and just kind of keeping it going as a backup. So, when we got suspended, we were able to list on there. So it's been good. We're top rated on that store. Our metrics are good. all that good stuff. So that's been nice. I think 700, 705, something like that. But it's very slow right now. Like that's and we understand that it's going to be, but it seems like
we weren't really feeding the algorithm on that store. So now we've scaled it a couple hundred in the last couple of days, only because like we're just like feeding it like crazy now.
Okay, you guys ready? I'm gonna prescribe you guys something. If you have 4,000 items active and a 40 item habit, it will never be slow. So on a bad day, I still have $1,000 in sales. That's why I'm looking at, when I look at the package picture, this is really revealing. If you look at the package picture on Instagram and there's more than 3 shapes, that person does not make any money. It's too hard.
Oh,
it's too hard.
That's interesting.
Like if there's like long,
I'm too slow. I'm trying to think like what. So like he must have said something brilliant here, but I don't know.
If you look at people's package pictures, you can tell if they do any volume or not.
Selling hard goods.
I got you.
It's just too hard. You run out of time if you have to sell all these random things.
Yeah.
And then the people who do that actually do not have work-life balance. I know, because if you have to do that, it's impossible. Right?
Yeah.
It's not.
It's 175,000, but like our work-life balance just like.
Work-life balance is one platform. One platform, 40 listings a day. Because here's the thing: if you can do, and it's actually I think around 30. If you do 30 a day, you automatically stop selling things that don't matter because you can't.
Yeah.
To consistently list 30 a day, it has to be really similar. So it's and then when you have, the eBay anchor store used to be 3,000 listings. Now it's 25,000 listings is the limit. But at 3,000 listings, you don't have slow days.
Right.
Like, that's the part that if you never get past, and if you look at most YouTubers, it's really hard to get past 1,000 items because of how hard it is to find content.
Right.
Yeah,
I think I would have, and I don't know this, I think I need, it's almost like five hours of footage to make one haul video. That's 5 hours of at least looking, driving. You have to find something, or you can once in a while not find anything.
Right.
But if you have several videos in a row where you don't find anything, people will think you don't know what you're doing. You have to find stuff.
Yeah. That's the like. For us, the way we look at YouTube is that it's a good way for us to market our social or not our social. It's a good way to market our digital products. That's a very good thing that we can do on there. But we definitely are scaling back because it's just like, it's nearly impossible. Like there's no way. Like I have footage we went to Cincinnati for New Year's. We had a great time. We did, we went thrifting. We had a good time. We had some fun moments in there. I went to piece that thing together. It's just like, I can't do this. Like, there's just no way. Like, it's already the 14th. I'm not releasing that video. It's over with. People are like, oh, it's too bad you're not making videos anymore. What happened to you guys? It's like, it's insane. Like, that's the thing that I realize now that I didn't realize when I started YouTube, of like how insane of a grind it is to actually make an income off of YouTube. Like, the most we ever made was like $2,500. And it's just like, I work a lot for that $2,500. Like I might as well just go back to the corporate world, because in 15 hours of, in less than 30 hours a week, I can make twice that, right? So it's like, what am I doing here? So it's a learning curve.
Well, an interesting thing that I thought of was, now that we're doing mostly clothing, an easy thing to do to like, just have like consistent videos is like haul videos, because I'm going to be having hauls of clothing and people do like those videos. So I'm like, well, that's an easy video. You just knock it out. You just like hold up your clothes and it's like, this is what I bought.
Yeah.
And then you keep the algorithm on YouTube consistent.
Right. Because there's definitely,
like everything.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of money to be made on social media. But again, you have to taste it and you have to figure out the balance. And I look at, because every day a new YouTube channel about reselling is popping up, which is great, and applause to everyone who's doing it. But anyone in this audience that's thinking about doing it or just getting started, just know that it's a long grind, and you really have to understand that part, and you really have to be passionate about it. but it's just a lot of work for not a lot of reward, unless you're going to really grow your social media presence, like, you know, like you have, well, and like many other people have, where you can actually have that reach. Then yes, it couldn't be worth it in the long run. But I don't want to talk about YouTube anymore.
I'm gonna leave one more thought for YouTube, because I think this. Okay,
Please.
If I was a couple like you, because you guys are fun to watch, if you did the YouTube formula, which is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you post at 12 p.m. because that's when all the unemployed people wake up. Unemployed people want entertainment. They don't want to work.
I know.
Okay. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon, you release a 13 to 20-minute video with confrontation in the title and the thumbnail. That's the formula. I hope that because of this video, I might make this video, because I would love for every single person in this reseller community just dominate YouTube with these I can't believe she said no, right? But the thing is, that's actually good content. If you can do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's the algorithm. I don't want to do that kind of content, but that is the content that people want.
I was talking to someone else, someone that I respect. It's a state neighbor here about that, and we talked about the same thing, and he's just like, I can't be stupid. And I'm like, I understand. Same here. Like, I can't force, like, if anyone in this video has watched a minute of our content, none of it is forced. We're just like that's how we are. Like, I'm stupid. Like, I like the other day, like I was doing a gesture and our part-timer walked in, and I was so embarrassed. Like, I'm just a person I'm alive, right? So, and I really don't care what people think about me personally, because they don't know anything about me. They haven't spent any time with me, right? So I don't really care. But at the same time, like, I can't do it. Like, just not a.
And I hate confrontation. Like, I'm the most anti-confrontational person you'll probably ever meet in your whole entire life. Like,
well, that's good, because. And I think there is a price to pay, because if you decide to be that person and you want to make those kind of videos, it's great. Good for you. It's also this is really important. It's a full-time job.
Yes.
If you want to do that, it's the same. So I like the way that you guys put it. Are you an entertainer or are you a reseller? Because entertainment is different.
Yeah.
But either way, with eBay and with entertainment, you can tell when people don't put the work in. If an entertainer takes the week off from doing entertaining things, it tanks. Right. If you're a reseller and you take 1 week off not listing, your store will tank. 1 week. That's not even horrible. But if you list 40 items a day for 7 days, it immediately kicks back on. As long as you're not listing loose CDs from 1999. Right? If you're listing good items
from the East Georgia,
it'll immediately
Virginia's
work.
Christ of God from
the
choir concert from 82. Right. Yeah.
So as long as you do it, but I think it's the same with entertainment. If you all of a sudden you make 7 videos in a row where you are epic, the world forgives you. Right. So it's just all about being consistent. For one time doesn't do it, but consistently doing it, that is, I think, huge. So 40 listings a day, 7 days a week. I would have, what time of day would you want to do this?
The workflow?
Yeah, the workflow.
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't have a good answer. Like, if it was up to me, I'm nonstop. Like, I'm happy to work all the time. Like, there's no, like, I was actually having fun working late last night by myself with the headphones and just kind of taking it a little bit easier, almost like a fun activity. But I don't know. I guess, do you have a preference?
Well, I mean, I was writing like schedules for myself the other day because I just do better with structure. And for me, it's sort of like, okay, like, do the cleanup in the morning. Like, when I start with like adding our numbers to the spreadsheet, that's like, I can have my coffee. It's like waking up, putting my mind into business mode. And then from there, it's like, well, now I know what we have to get done. So our part-timer didn't come yesterday. So it's like, okay, so I know that I have to get the photographs done today. So that was kind of, a flip of the schedule, but it's like, okay, so now I'm going to go into the eBay room, process it and photograph some things. And then shipping, I prefer to get shipping done before noon, because otherwise I just feel like sometimes it gets chaotic and you're trying to like rush to the post office, and I don't like feeling rushed. So
yeah, so let's brainstorm then. So
When
what do you
do you
think?
wake up?
When our daughter wakes up,
well,
is-
no, I
around,
think you're
oh,
at
sorry, go ahead.
6.
6.
Yeah, 6 is a good time for me to
And
like come
when
down.
does she wake up?
Well, if I get out, so she's been coming into our room. It's tricky with a toddler because she can open doors now, and I wake up and I'm just like, when did you get here? So if I get out of bed, sometimes she'll wake up and want to come find me. So then it's sort of balancing her until we get her to daycare. But otherwise, she'll wake up at between like 7 and 8.
Mhm. Yeah, we had a conversation just a couple of days ago of like, listen, we need to dedicate the day or night before who's taking care of Jessica tomorrow morning, because it's kind of like you'll find out soon enough too, once your little one starts walking and opening doors and stuff. Like, what, it's 100% attention to them. You can't leave them alone. There's no way you can leave them alone. So it's excuse me, it's very chaotic. So let's say like we're all up and like I'm feeding her breakfast, but then I have to go use the bathroom. Then Melinda has to watch her. Then once I'm done with the bathroom, I need to go get myself a new coffee cup or whatever. Then now she's not working and I'm not working, and the kid's kind of all over the place. So that's the thing that we're balancing right now and figuring out, like, okay, when does the workday start? Who actually takes care of Jessica? No more of this like, well, can you watch her for a couple minutes? It's like, no, you're dedicated. So then now I know I have to be up at 5 to wake up and get myself ready for the next X amount of hours I'm with my daughter. So that's definitely something that we need to work on.
What do you do on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday? You have her the whole day?
So typically Melinda, during the work day, Monday through Friday, typically on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Melinda takes care of her, and then I'll alternate and kind of take a day off and then, go hang out with my daughter all day while Melinda works. But most of the time it's her taking care of her those 2 days, and then I jump in once in a while at this point.
Yes, and then we do have her Saturday, Sunday.
Mhm.
Unless, well, we've been trying once a month where we get a weekend, but generally speaking, yes, we have her all day, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, I'll tell you what I want, but I don't know how it would work.
Okay.
I want both of you to complete eBay before noon, all 7 days. And I'd want you to start with photography and listing, and the other person starts with shipping. So I don't think you can play with your daughter and do eBay, because I'm not able to do that. So it only happens before or after. In the beginning, when it was 24/7, there was no doing anything. And now she can move now. So now can't walk yet, but it's already, you can have to be there 24 the whole time. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It has to be, and I don't know how this is going to happen, but if you can do it before noon and be done, if you do that, then you can release one video a week, which is what I recommend for YouTube, because your audience likes you, loves you, because you're authentic. So one video a week, everything done by noon. I just don't know how you fit it all in. You'll have to alternate, because one person will take care, the other person will go it. And then I would say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, those days, you need to really crunch, because you need to crunch on the other parts of your business. The listing, shipping part. If you do it 7 days a week, shipping is a lot easier when it's only a few items. So, because if you want to crush everything, which is what I want for everyone listening and everyone in this group, I want you to have it all. If you want it all, got to do your eBay first, because then you never have any slow days. I don't have to make YouTube content. So it's going to be really good this year, because it's just for fun. When you do it for a living, it's a grind.
Right.
If you're just doing it for fun, then it's cool. So I recommend your ledger just being a thank you product, because Christine, the group, learned how to sell pots and pans from you guys. So like if she makes a couple $1,000 selling pots and pans, she owes it to you guys to buy that ledger. She'll just buy it because she loves you guys. So that kind of a thank you product, one video a week, 40 listings done by noon. Then you have your easy 6-figure income, peaceful life. And you can be like me and make a video about Mercari and say in the video you don't sell on Mercari, and they still love it. Because at least I'm real and I know how Mercari works. It's not worth my time to cross list.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just all so I like how I like that you're setting some of our goals with us or for us because you're challenging us, and I really do appreciate that. And I think that's the most valuable part of talking to someone like you, where we're all trying to, all of our audience, or most of our audience that's in this group right now, is trying to do that one thing. And it really does take somebody else to kind of call you out on your BS. And that's one of my favorite things on social media, is when I tell someone something and then they yell at me because I was too mean to them. That's like my favorite thing. And it's just, or like when they threaten they're going to block me because I told them something very straightforward. Those are the types of people that we dissociate from, because there's no value for both parties. But it's really nice to have someone like you actually challenge us and challenge our thoughts. So I just want to say thank you for that, because it's value added, and I'm sure it's value added for this community as well.
I'm starting to like confrontation as I get older.
Oh yeah,
I will call you guys out.
As a fellow tall person, it's fine. Like it's okay. I don't mind it at all.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm so crushable. I'm so mini. I had a question about, so if you put up all your listings before noon, do you think the eBay algorithm matters? Like if you're listing throughout the day, you don't, you just think it's like the number per day and that's it?
And I would recommend doing it all at the same time. So like you draft all 40 and launch all 40 right in 1 minute, 5 minutes, because I've had better success launching my daily listings all at once versus, and I did my daily listings before our call today. So, that's the holy grail of reselling. Somebody puts together the listings for you, you launch them. So you make sure it's all perfect and the pictures look good. And when there is a problem, all I do is I send them the item number and they fix it. So they go back, redo the photos, redo the title. If there's something missing, like this morning, there was an inseam picture that was missing. So she has to go back and fix that. So she'll add the inseam picture to the listing, and then, but that's I think the holy grail of eBay is somebody takes the photos, drafts it for you, and all you do is launch the listing. Because even my colleague Tech and Sports, who does 250 a day, he still launches all 250 every day, but that's all he does. Everything else has been somebody else doing it. And so your part-time person, don't do what I did. Have them help with shipping, and then you list. That will make you a ton of money. So, and then once you get to, if you actually have a listing habit of over 30 a day, I don't even think it's possible to spend it, because you don't have any time. Trying to do 30 a day every day really requires 100% of your attention. It's like a newborn. If you take your eye off of it, it will go away. You won't have that 30 listing. It takes your full focus. And I think even in our group, it's almost 2,000 people. There's only like a couple dozen that have made it to the 30 a day holy land. Because when you're there, you can afford help.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a good way to think of it.
30 a day affords you help. If you want, you can have somebody do your laundry, somebody do your cooking. I'm going to figure out laundry. I think I enjoy cooking too. So I'm going to do the cooking, but the laundry part, I want to figure out a simpler system for me I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Same. I do most of the laundry, but it's always a giant pile.
He doesn't like the way I do laundry. We're very different in our laundry styles, and he's pickier. So when we moved in together, it was just like, he would like be picky about, and I'm just like, all right, you're doing laundry. That's how that happened.
Do you guys like the same snacks?
No. Sometimes it depends. I like crunchy or like chewy stuff, and Nadine likes really soft stuff. Flavor wise, yeah, probably. I don't like olives, and you like olives though.
We like olives.
We don't like. We're very different, so it's good.
We're very different people. I'm very extroverted. Yeah, I'm very extroverted. Monda's introverted. Obviously the height difference, our thought, like the way we're very different people. It's a very interesting. Like our backgrounds couldn't be any more different. Everything is completely different, and it's great. It's just
what is the height difference?
About 2 feet.
She's
Holy
5.
crap! Are you
She's
serious?
not 2 feet.
Almost.
Almost.
Can't
So
be
you're 5'2", I'm 6'10".
Wow!
So
Wow! So
So we
yeah,
have no idea how tall our kid's gonna be because you can't
Yeah.
predict it because the
wow.
difference is so big.
So you're on borrowed time too. That's very tall.
Yeah. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
make
think
enough money.
that's right. So yeah, when I did the estate planning, and it's really weird because it's like, what happens when you die, right?
Mhm.
So then you do, and then life insurance. How long do you think you're gonna live? Those two things I did when I got married, and it really like I was like, wow, I'm anytime I could not be here. So set up the life insurance, try to be as healthy as possible, and then the estate lawyer straight up said, your eBay business will die when you die. You don't figure out how to make money and buy real estate and stocks and give those to your daughter. She's going to close your store as soon as you're gone next day. So when I heard that, I was like, wow, okay, that's totally she's not going to want an eBay store. She wants money, stocks, or real estate. That's what, if you're going to be inheriting something, right? That's what you want. So I was like, okay, wow, that's a slap in the face. But that's true.
Well, I think it's good to understand that we were all on limited times. And I think for me personally, that makes life easier because then it doesn't allow me the time to be angry or upset. It doesn't allow me the time to be, a bad person because I understand that like I'm only here for a short period of time. I'm going to do the best to be happy and kind of go from there. And Mona has
I'll be here forever. I can hold a grudge as long as you need.
I love it.
Short people, they don't have anything to worry about.
They don't have anything to worry about.
My whole family was long.
Yeah, her grandma was 99, held grudges for the last 40 years.
That's because when you're retired when that eBay store.
That's crazy. So I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. Where can people find you again if they want to find out or reach out to you or watch your channel?
Yeah,
so it's Hustlin' Hooks across the board. Instagram, we answer all our messages there, so it's a really good way to reach us. And then YouTube is Hustlin' Hooks as well.
I have one more question before we leave your presence. So, if you were to define the eBay algorithm to somebody that's brand new, like how would you define it? And like, what does the algorithm mean to you?
I think the algorithm for eBay is actually based on what people search for. So, if I was defining eBay to a beginner, I would say eBay is the most advanced tool on the internet for helping people find what they want to buy. That's why your job is to plug your item into their algorithm the best you can, because they try to find the customer for you. And it's really hard to find customers when they can literally type in anything. So your job as a beginner or somebody new is that it's like if you're a cook and the best chefs and the best restaurants have the best ingredients. All they have to do is not screw it up. That's what you're doing as a listing. If you're listing, as an example, a G-Shock watch, you want to take pictures that best represent the item. You want to describe it in as much detail as possible so somebody can see it. And I heard like, describe your item like people can't see pictures. Take photos of your item like people can't read the description. That's like my alarm clock at the end of this time every day.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
You're good.
But that's if I was defining it for a beginner, I would say your job is to let somebody know at home to the best of their ability what your item is like. And that will usually sell it. And also most people don't price competitively. So make sure you price your item. This is why eBay has easy pricing for beginners. It'll automatically decrease the price until it sells. But when you're an eBay expert, you're supposed to know how to do that yourself. You have to figure out the pricing so somebody will buy it. But eBay, I'm surprised eBay doesn't have easy pricing for big stores, but they don't.
One more follow-up question. What is your unless you have to go?
No, go ahead.
Okay. What is your strategy for how often you run sales? And what is your strategy for your aging inventory? And at one point, do you make those decisions? Because I know I've reviewed your daily refinement store just briefly, I know you have things on there that are $1.99 plus shipping, and obviously you have the other spectrum. Then you have most of your meat is right at that $25 plus shipping mark. So what are your strategies when it comes to that?
So I try to discount my items $5 the last 3 days of the month. And because my items are not items that are necessarily super desirable, I will just let them marinate. So I actually don't go lower than I would say probably $5 is as cheap as they get. I don't run any auctions, but sometimes I actually raise my prices. So last 3 days of the month, $5 cheaper. That's how I'm doing it. And then periodically over time, the older items I subtract. I just slowly discount. So down to about $5. And then when it's around $5, I usually leave it. Anything under $5 has a problem. So I'll discount items that $1.99 or 99 cents if there's a stain or a defect. And I did end up selling. I had a Pendleton sweater that had big stains and missing all the buttons. It did end up selling for 99 cents plus shipping. So I'm happy to do that to get the unit.
Yeah.
And that's, I think the sales velocity is based on your entire store. So for me, I don't have an exact system, but the last 3 days of the month, I do a $5 off sale. And that is usually enough to move my old inventory since my items are already really affordable.
That $5 across all of your listings?
The whole store.
Interesting. For 3 days and in a month. Interesting. Okay.
3 days in the month. Because then it gives like an incentive to buy more than one item.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you have those very cheap items, it's a nice thing people can pair them up. So
let's see.
Oh
yeah. So this is the alarm clock. So this is the end of the call every day. So back to routines though. Like I do this call every morning and then it ends with this. And then I go to work and I try to do 143 listings a day with 3 people. And that's try to do the same thing every day.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
All right, guys. So appreciate you guys taking the time and
thank you so much.